Self-driving cars, delivery drones, and internet service delivered through floating balloons. Those are just some of the projects that have come out of Google's X Lab, the secretive Silicon Valley lab tasked with imagining and developing futuristic technologies.
But what else are the company's exceptional minds envisioning? Atlantic Magazine senior editor Derek Thompson had the chance to go inside. His article, Google X and the Science of Radical Creativity, appears in this month's issue. Derek, it's great to see you again, my friend.
Very good to see you as well.
Okay, so how did you get into this secret lab in the first place?
Basically, we worked it out with the magazine to get me exclusive access to some of their new projects, and it was really fun. You know, I felt like, Charlie Bucket entering the chocolate factory. You go into the lobby, and there's a parked self-driving car, and there are drones hanging from the rafters. It looks like a museum of alternative futures, and it was really exciting to be able to talk to these people about these projects that could be months, years, even a decade away from becoming real companies. Self-driving cars, drones, contact lenses that measure your tears for glucose and see if you need an insulin injection. Just some really interesting and fun stuff.
What exactly is the purpose of X?
It has a dual purpose. And the dual purpose is, one, to develop companies that have a 10x return somehow, that improve the world by a factor of X, 10, and companies that can build essentially the next Google. So change the world and build the next Google. And it's interesting because sometimes these two purposes are aligned. But as I talked to the people there, I pushed back a little bit and I said, you look at companies like Facebook, designed initially just to digitize a college yearbook, and ended up becoming the sort of the global infrastructure of information. So sometimes big projects invent the future. Other times incremental innovation does.
But it's not all just wacky out there ideas, right? I mean, it sounds like there's a fairly rigorous assessment process in terms of developing this technology.
Yes, there absolutely is. So there is a group at X called the Rapid Evaluation Team. I say they're like a Justice League of nerds. You have like metal scientists and psychologists and philosophers, and you enter a room and you pitch a new idea. So I did. At the beginning of this article, I go into the room and I say, I have an idea. We need more housing density in rich, productive cities. Let's build houses on the ocean. How do we think about that? And it was fascinating to watch these people sort of, mull over the idea and tease it out and question my premises. What exactly are you trying to accomplish? Why are we trying to build more housing in dense cities? It's really wonderful and interesting to sort of watch their minds at work.
This whole idea of idea labs, I mean, it's been around in the past. Xerox at one time had a Palo Alto Research Center. Mm-hmm. AT&T, of course, had Bell Labs. Are we going back to that, do you think?
I hope we do. I think that, I looked at X as sort of like a microcosm of the U.S. economy, that we need in every economy both invention, science, and innovation, which is the ability to take scientific discoveries and commercialize them. Yeah. And the U.S. used to be fantastic at this. In the 1940s and 1970s, we came up with the transistor at Bell Labs. We came up with the guts of the modern computer at Xerox PARC. And now we're lacking some of that ambition, I think, in the corporate sector and in the government. And it would be nice to have that spirit of invention come back to us.
Yeah, if government funding for invention has gone down in the last couple of
70%
years. 70%
since the 1950s.
Dramatic drop-off. Now, not everything is a winner at X, right? Google Glass is a notorious failure. How do they deal with that inside? Yes,
it was really interesting because the biggest knock on X is that they haven't shipped a hugely successful commercial product yet. It might be Waymo, which seems to be doing quite well, but self-driving cars, exactly. But Google Glass was clearly a huge failure, and the lesson they took from that is that they sold Glass as if it was a product when it was really a prototype.
Right.
And so what they learned is that they were a great scientific lab, but they needed to be more purposeful about turning their scientific discoveries into products. And so I think that an enormous part of working on hard projects is understanding you're going to fail constantly.
Failure's a part of the process.
Exactly.
It has to be. Derek Thompson, thanks so much.
Thank you.